And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus on this Thursday. We're smack dab in the middle of the month of January, and it's a mild one out there. If you're visiting from out of town, no, this is not normal. We're normally not this nice this time of the year, that's for sure, as temperature is well above normal. We're in the 30s currently, 33 degrees, on our way up to about 37. The record is 40 today, so we'll be flirting with that. I don't think we're going to get there, but still, a pretty mild day, and this is more than likely going to be the last day in the 30s for this month, as Arctic air is going to spill into the area, and we're going to see it come in a couple of waves. One wave coming in tomorrow, another wave Sunday night, and then the true Arctic air may hold off until late next week, so where we could see temperatures 10, 20 below. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, along with our Ag Director Bridgette Readel, and soak up the sun and the mild weather today. It's weird seeing bare ground in the middle of January out here.
No, it's not.
I think it is.
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
This is not all that surprising. We've had a couple open winters. And,
well, the last two, we've been spoiled.
But, I think we're going to be just fine, and it'll likely a couple inches of snow potential. We're going to fill it right back in.
Yeah, we will have some snow in the forecast, and we're looking at very windy conditions developing as well, and that's going to pose a problem. The snowfall amounts aren't going to be that big, about an inch or two. Some spots could pick up locally a little more, but in general across the area, about an inch to 2 inches. But the winds are going to be 40 to 45 miles an hour, blowing that snow around as we head into tomorrow. So travel is going to be a little bit messy for your Friday. Today, though, the rest of today looking good. Upper 30s for a high, and winds out of the southwest turning to the northwest, and they'll be increasing after sunset. And we'll see a few rain or snow showers this evening, and then snow showers will become a little more prevalent overnight tonight as we bottom out about 10 above, and then that'll be our high for tomorrow, and then falling temperatures throughout the day. Snow and blowing snow, reduced visibility tomorrow, about an inch or two accumulation expected. And again, there will be periods of near blizzard conditions during the day tomorrow, not all day, but periods of very reduced visibility and slippery travel as well. So keep that in mind. If you do have any travel plans tomorrow, might want to push those off. It does improve a little bit for Saturday. It's still breezy, but the snow should wind down. And then as we head into Sunday, another clipper system, Saturday night into early Sunday, another clipper system comes our way, bringing us wind and some light snow. Sunday's going to be a blustery day with falling temperatures, a good day to sit inside and watch some football on Sunday because, not going to be it's going to be just a raw weekend for our area. We're used to it, though, but we've just been spoiled so far this winter. So all in all, again, not a blockbuster storm, but it doesn't take much snow when you get those strong winds, Bridgette. So, again, travel tomorrow going to be a little bit on the tricky side.
I'm not even going to say it's going to be icy, but Lord knows it's going to be tough to see. And frankly, between the last few months, probably the last few weeks, I should say, 6 weeks, we've had a fair amount of blowing snow like that. Mm-hmm. But holy fog, Batman. I mean, there's been a few days. So
yeah, and luckily, I mean, the snow we have on the ground is crusted over, because if we get this wind with this snow, this ain't going anywhere. But again, the fresh snow, and we'll continue to. I've had a few emails saying how much snow are we expecting between now and the end of the month, and with all these clipper systems that are lined up that are ready to come through, I'd say anywhere between 4-7 inches of new snow between tomorrow and the end of the month. So not a lot, but again, it'll add a little bit to the snowpack. The LRC is still predicting a pretty stormy February. So right. I am expecting, we're in phase 1 of the LRC cycle right now. Phase 2, that's the stormy part, the more moisture part of the LRC cycle. That comes our way as we turn the corner into February. So that's why we're expecting a little stormier weather in terms of more snowfall as we head into February.
Well, we'll be making up the difference for all of you who have snow removal businesses. For those who have cattle, it's been kind of nice not to have to move snow constantly to get to hay ground, etc. But when the ground is sloppy and wet like this, it's not ideal. And we're going to be approaching calving season fairly quickly. Once we get into March, we kind of hit the heavy period for that. So it'll be interesting to watch. And I have no problem with producers drop us a message and just say, here's what's going on in my operation. I would very much welcome hearing that. You can do that several ways. One is you can send us emails, ag@flagfamily.com or weather@flagfamily.com. And you can reach us because Superior Grain Equipment, they give you superior grain storage, drying, and handling solutions. Well, they sponsor and power our inboxes. You can watch live. Man, if you missed something and you wanted to rewatch and see it, you can do that. Our live streams brought to you by Lighthouse Commodities. They include Facebook, YouTube, and Acres TV. Lighthouse Commodities is part of a meeting next week on January 20th out in Bismarck. It'll be at the North Dakota Gateway to Science Center. And they will be having a chance to do I don't know if I want to call it close coaching with growers, but they want to have a talk about commodities, especially after we had the WASI report on Monday, and more to come, right? We're watching what's happening with bridge payments, et cetera. This would be an excellent meeting to attend if you want to do some planning for the new year with your grain marketing. We also take phone calls every day, JLA Insurance phone line. That is brought to us by Nate Thorsrud of JLA Insurance. And with the higher premiums, subsidies, more coverage options and such, you're going to want to have a talk with him. But you can call us at 701-293-9000. Had a chance to prepare for our next Cass County Farm Bureau Assistant Ag Director. Sent out some emails this morning. She'll be joining us next week. Cass County Farm Bureau makes sure to support agriculture as well as students. And by sponsoring our Assistant Ag Intern, it really brings those two things together, but also communications, which is pretty important in today's day and age. Also, it might be important for those who are listening who want to qualify for a Vegas Vacation Qualifier. And there's actually several ways to do it today. One, if you haven't gone to our website to register, WDAYradionow.com, get that done. Click the banner for the Valentine's Day giveaway. Then you can also be joining us at a live opportunity today. Are you going to be at this one, Dean?
Yes, I will be out at Ace Out Golf from 3 o'clock till 5 o'clock, where you can come on out there and you can register out there. We'll be drawing some qualifiers while you're out there. And I know he's got some specials running for Ace Out Golf, so you can test them out there. Bring your wallet. We'll be gambling $5 a hole.
Fine.
And you see if you can beat me and win some money.
Well, and I've never been to Ace Out Golf Simulators. You can find it at 5060 50th Avenue South, so it's just north of 52nd Avenue. You can turn east at Hero, and you'll see a dark brown commercial garage-style building. Now, if you're there, as Dean said, you have the opportunity to register to win 18 rounds of golf for you and 3 of your friends. 18 rounds of golf. Hope your arms are tired after that. Good grief. But that is your opportunity. Go to Ace Out Golf, register to win the golf, but then also register to win the Valentine's Day in Vegas. It's a trip to see the Wizard of Oz taking place Valentine's weekend. Thank you to Frontier Airlines, Alsager Meats, and Kingpins for bringing this to you.
And that's a great trip for, somebody and their sweetheart to take them out to Vegas and little Wizard of Oz action. I heard that's phenomenal. Well, Jay was out there. He said it was absolutely phenomenal. Unbelievable.
It reminds me of rides they've had at Disney World, where it's an immersion experience. But you would not only get the tickets to go to the Valentine's Day show for the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere, but you're also going to get airfare for 2, hotel rooms, and
gambling
$500 in cash.
Right?
Yeah.
Can't beat that.
We have someone who needs to call in and qualify with us today.
Yes. And today's potential qualifier, are you ready? Is Terry Waltz of Fargo. Terry, you have 11 minutes to call. 701-293-9000. Again, that's Terry Waltz of Fargo. If you know Terry, let him know. Shoot him a text. Say, hey, you got 11 minutes to call. 701-293-9000 to qualify for our Vegas trip giveaway.
Terry needs to beat, I think we've already blown that. Like the record was 13 seconds to call in to qualify. But Terry's going to have a little bit of time while we listen to the livestock market update from the American Ag Network. When we return, we hope that Terry has called in to qualify. And additionally, we will be joined by 2 guests, Bruce Toay and Tanner Gu. They're with Ducks Unlimited. What do ducks do with our regular farming days? Well, we'll ask them. So Bruce and Tanner will be joining us next. It is a very big day here at the Coral Laundromat studio for Weather and Ag in Focus. Many things going on. One of them is getting qualifiers for our Vegas vacation to see the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. And by God, our record is standing right back up for winners.
That's awesome.
We have on the line our qualifier, Terry. That is Terry Waltz of Fargo. Terry, can you hear us?
I can.
Terry, congratulations.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. So it's easy, right? You go online, you register, you listen, and now you're a qualifier. Make sure you come out to Kingpins in February for the big giveaway. Got to be there to win.
So now, do you guys send information about that, or how do I know about that?
Yes, you will. Yep, you'll be getting a whole raft of information, I'm sure, in regards to February 3rd. That's a Tuesday night over at Kingpins, what time you need to be there, how things will go. I've suggested to other winners that you could run your own contest that night, Terry, and you could try to raffle off your friends who's going to be your second person to go with you.
Oh, well, I think my wife might be really mad if I didn't.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea, Bridgette. But I don't feel like getting divorced right now. So
You never know until you try.
Yeah, you
yeah,
suggest.
there you go. Yeah, there you
That
go.
coming from the single guy behind the glass.
Point stands.
Hey, I'll give you a little information. You should always take your significant other.
There you go.
Always.
Write that down, Addison. Okay.
There you go.
Terry, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you qualifying and maybe winning. You've qualified. We want to see you winning at Kingpins on February 3rd.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Terry. Have a good
All
weekend.
right.
One more correction in regards to the Vegas vacation. Today, Dean's going to be live at Ace Out Golf Simulators. Again, this is at 5060 50th Avenue South in Fargo. And you can register to win 18 holes of golf. Our original sheet said rounds, and I'm like, wow, your arms are going to be super tired.
Very.
Dean's like, there's no way. So it's 18 holes of golf for you and 3 friends at the Ace Out Golf Simulators. You got to come down and register tonight.
Yeah, come on out there tonight. And again, I'll be down there from 3 to 5. It is a little hard to find. It's right by Hero off 52nd Street there. They're in. We'll have our WDAY signs outside, and but come on down there, swing the sticks with me, and any course in the world you can golf with Ace Out Golf Simulator. So it's going to be a good time, and come on down, register, and again, just say hi and stop by, and hey, maybe you'll end up being the winner, I should say.
Just might.
As you qualify today.
I just need golf carts there so I can simulate my best part of golfing. And that
Is
would be
drinking-
driving the cart.
And drinking the beer.
Sure. Guests today are Bruce, and I got to make sure I say these right. Bruce will correct me. Bruce Toay and Tanner Gu. They are with Ducks Unlimited. Gentlemen, are you available to visit with us? And did I get your names right?
I am here. Thank you, Bridgette.
Thanks.
Good afternoon.
All right, guys. Bruce, can you give us a little description? What's Ducks Unlimited? There are some folks that maybe aren't familiar with that organization. Can you give us a little history?
Sure, you bet. Yeah. So Ducks Unlimited is a nonprofit wetlands conservation organization, in essence. So just a brief history in a nutshell. Started back in 1937, actually. So you think back in the dirty 30s, widespread droughts impacting agriculture, but also having drastic effects on waterfowl populations. At that time, a group of waterfowlers got together and started to wanted to make a change and started raising money to conserve wetlands and associated habitats, primarily in Canada, and the Canadian prairies, where lots of wetlands were abundant and had some opportunities for conservation work. And really, we worked in the Canadian prairies for almost the first 50 years of our existence, and finally recognized opportunities in the Dakotas to work with conservation projects as well. About 1985 is when we started working in this neck of the woods, and we've had boots on the ground ever since.
Well, one of those pairs of boots belongs to Tanner. Tanner, can you fill us in a little bit on your position with Ducks Unlimited?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me okay, first off?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. Yeah. I am the manager of conservation programs in North Dakota. Bruce is the manager in South Dakota. We each have a team of 5 or 6 biologists and agronomists that spend the vast majority of their time out working with farmers and ranchers, other private landowners, public land managers, and other conservation partners on various conservation programs. And then Bruce and I spend most of our time, working with farmers and ranchers directly as well, but spending a lot more time working with partners, developing partnerships, maintaining partnerships, and just keeping those resources flowing so that our teams can go do really important work for conservation, but also for our partnering farmers and ranchers in their operations.
There are some folks that are listening who maybe aren't as familiar with conservation programs that are out there. They may think that Pheasants Forever is the same as Ducks Unlimited, et cetera, but you are two separate organizations, correct? Do you have similar goals or programs? I just want to make sure we clarify for people who aren't sure if they're dealing with the same group or not.
Yeah, that's a great question. And really, from South Dakota, we're blessed to have a lot of different partners in this space to help folks with conservation practices. That could be Ducks Unlimited, Pheasants Forever. There's literally dozens of other organizations like that. Our constituents are a little different in each of those organizations, and our priorities may be a little different. But generally, our goals are very much the same. Keeping grasslands and wetlands on the landscape. And we all work together for the most part. So if you're working with one organization and what your goals don't match what we can provide, we'll help you find the next organization to help you get that done.
And I appreciate that when folks work together, because we may not be able to solve your concern, but we can find someone who can. And that's the right way to do things across the board.
Absolutely.
So when we think about some of the conservation programs, we're going to have more time to talk after we hear the news at 1:30. But just a real quick idea, how many different programs do you have available, whether they are for landowners, ranchers, farmers, et cetera? I would imagine there's a pretty big scope.
It is, and really the prairie pothole region is our emphasis. That's a big geography that ranges from essentially from Des Moines, Iowa, to Calgary, Alberta. So as Tanner and I are focused here in the Dakotas and in the eastern parts of those states, really just trying to find ways to work with farmers and ranchers to keep those habitats intact and healthy. So it really trying to find programs that suit the cooperators' needs and keep those intact. Most of those programs tend to work with grazing infrastructure and really focusing on the livestock side of agriculture. If we have cattle on the landscape, we're still going to have grasslands and wetlands that are excellent for habitats for waterfowl and many other wildlife. So align very heavily with ranching goals, and also on croplands too, with incorporating soil health practices. So specifically, those projects can generally cost share for fence and water systems for grazing infrastructure, grass seedings, cover crops, those sorts of things.
Well, gentlemen, we want to talk about some of those programs. Again, Bruce is with Ducks Unlimited in South Dakota. Tanner is with Ducks Unlimited here in North Dakota. But we want to talk about what a couple of those specific programs are, maybe some examples of success that you have had with producers in the tri-state area. And we'll do that after we come back from our news, and we'll continue our discussion with Tanner and Bruce. They are both with Ducks Unlimited in the Dakotas. Keep those questions coming to us here at the Coral Laundromat Studio, which is a place you could be stopping with the storm coming. Maybe you want to hustle up, get all the laundry done in one big shot. Well, run on over there to Veterans Boulevard to the Coral Laundromat and get those things tidied up. You can drop them off or pick them up later, and they make sure you can pay any way you'd like. Venmo, Apple Pay, credit cards, etc., etc. Make it pretty easy for you to get your laundry all cleaned up. And I think about it within agriculture, well, we're dirty. Might as well take everything to the laundromat. We have with us our guests today. And for those of you who have questions for the guests, again, you can reach us on the JLA Insurance phone line, 701-293-9000. You can email ag or weather at flagfamily.com. Those are inboxes powered by Superior Grain Equipment. We hope you're watching on our Lighthouse Commodities live streams, Facebook, YouTube, and Acres TV. Dean and I were talking about our current guest discussion, and that is revolving around Ducks Unlimited with Bruce and Tanner. They are the gentlemen who pretty much direct programs for the Dakotas. But you have a great question that maybe some of our audience members who aren't familiar are wondering.
Yeah. So, Bruce and Tanner, when you're working, conservation and working with our ag community, do you, is it one of your goals is to rent out parts of the farmland for duck hunting, or is that not even in consideration?
No, that's a good question. But no, typically not. That's not a requirement by any means. The land stays in the landowners or renters' control. We're just trying to help them with their agricultural operation and do so in such a way that works well for waterfowl and other wildlife habitat conservation.
Okay.
There's no requirement for that. We do have some programs in North Dakota specifically where we might be helping a farmer or rancher with various conservation practices like Bruce mentioned, and we can provide just a little bit more cost share than we already would have if that landowner is willing to open it up to plots. In North Dakota, we have the private land open to sportsmen through North Dakota Game and Fish, and we can provide an additional incentive if the landowner is willing or chooses to open that up through that program. Completely voluntary, not a requirement in any situation.
Okay.
So Tanner, when you're talking about cost share, just to refresh what we talked about prior to the news, you can look at whether it's potentially with like grass seed, right? Infrastructure, et cetera. Would you have examples of those programs that are available for producers in North Dakota?
Oh yeah, sure. If we got into specific examples, there's a lot of them. But I would say that just generally an overarching statement that Bruce's team and my team up here in North Dakota do or pride ourselves on is listening to our farmers and ranching partners, learning alongside of them, and building short-term, flexible conservation programs that really fit their needs. Ducks Unlimited and other conservation entities in both states are really good at listening and learning and building these short-term programs that can kind of tackle the landowner's objectives. And so those are always changing. That's kind of what I was getting to, Bridgette, is that some years we have this particular program that does this specific thing, and the next year we might have another program that can help with something else. It's always changing, always evolving, and we like it that way, so we can stay on top of our partners' needs.
And when we think about these programs, we often need to remember that we are talking directly to the landowners. That's the person who owns the land who's going to make those conservation changes. But if that land is rented out, how often does the renter get to be part of that conversation so everybody's needs are met? Or can you just kind of walk us through that process? Somebody calls and said, I think I've got some non-productive land. It's idle. I think I could have a use for it in conservation. What are some of the starting points that you would be asking that person to get the ball rolling?
Yeah, I'll let Bruce chime in too.
Sure.
But in North Dakota, in both states, we do a pretty good job of asking questions right from the get-go, just to learn more about the operation, identify resource concerns, logistical advantages or disadvantages, and take a really holistic approach to understanding our partner's operation And in doing so, we naturally get to meet the owner, the lessee, the neighbor in many cases. And so everybody's usually involved. Anybody who's got a stake in that parcel or that, that project, we're getting all involved, even the next generation in most cases. And that's important to us too. So anybody who's got a stake in it, we're trying to get them involved from the get-go.
And Bruce, you had some comments to add into that as well?
Yeah, pretty similar. And we've had both scenarios where a tenant has come to us and hoping to get the landowner on board and vice versa. And really, as Tanner mentioned, we really want to find out what the overall goals are for both and have everyone on the same page from the get-go. And that's the best way to have a meaningful long-term impact when we put these projects together.
Both of you have worked on numerous projects across the states, and I'm familiar with one success story in South Dakota. I'm sure there are more, as well as Tanner might have some in North Dakota. But would you be willing to give us just a little overview of what happened with Hadrick's, Troy and Stacy Hadrick in South Dakota, because that seems to be a project that went extremely well on both sides for Ducks Unlimited as well as for their ranch.
Yeah, you bet. We've been working with Troy and Stacy Hadrick for a little while now. The Hadrick Ranch has really done an excellent job of direct marketing their premium Angus beef throughout South Dakota, and really looking to grow that enterprise without having to buy more land. And had a couple of quarters with some cropland. Just wanted to convert that into pasture, and a pretty complex project, having to work with seeding plans and what about income over the grass establishment phase, and how do I set up and pay for infrastructure like fence and water. I need to do that. And one of our largest programs right now is called the Working Grasslands Partnership with the WDAY and a number of other partners. Fit that model perfectly, able to put together a plan that converts about 240 acres of cropland back into a native prairie mix, so a diverse mix of native wildflowers and grasses. Also, at the same time, recognizing that those seed mixes can take 2 to 3 years before they're valuable as forage. We have a short-term rental payment that we can pay them to basically let that land sit idle, aside from any weed control needs, but recognizing that we can just let that sit, and this gives them an opportunity to purchase hay or do whatever else they need to help cash flow that transition. At the same time, we'll be installing some fence and water over the next couple of years. And when we're done here, probably by 2027, 28, we're going to have 320 acres of real nice pasture that he's going to be able to put into a rotational grazing system and really expand his herd there to grow his enterprise. So pretty cool story. They've been great to work with, and they've been advocating project quite a bit.
And that is a excellent example, because you have so much diversity there of not only things that you can work with them to do with Ducks Unlimited, but bringing something that was probably less than productive for that ranch into a better opportunity, especially as they're trying to build pounds of beef per animal. So Tanner, when I heard the story about Hadrick's, you guys were talking about 240 acres, but it doesn't always have to be that large of a chunk. You can do smaller projects and so much more, correct?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we've done something as simple as somebody might have some marginally productive crop ground. It could be 40 acres, 20 acres, quarter section. It doesn't matter. In many cases, we don't have a maximum or a minimum, but in that particular case I'm thinking of, this gentleman had about 40 acres, pretty marginally productive. We were able to help him get that back to grasslands. This was a mixed operator, row crop farmer, and ran several hundred cattle. And he wanted to get it back into his rotational grazing system. And so we were able to help him design a seed mix specific for those soils and for his grazing desires, and get that back to grass. And in a very short amount of time, it was turned into his grazing system, and that just bought him more flexibility in his rotational grazing management strategy on his existing perennial forage. So yeah, it could be a couple sections big, or it could be 20 acres. We're willing to meet folks where they're at.
And guys, do you ever get any pushback from any of the farmers at all?
It's totally voluntary. So I mean, at this point, this they're calling us and asking for just a little bit of assistance.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just technical assistance on some questions, and generally, if they don't want the program, it's totally voluntary. So one of the there used to be an idea that we were taking land out of production, and as we talked, that's not necessarily what's going on here. We're just transitioning from one production model to another in these scenarios, and some of our other projects are even enhancing the cropland model with improved soil health practices.
Those are great points. There's voluntary, the difference in sizes. As I heard Tanner say earlier, you're really listening to what is the need of that producer to find the right fit for them. If folks have an interest in some of the programs that might be available through Ducks Unlimited as they're looking to make some changes in their cropping systems over time, like you said, with rotational grazing, gentlemen, where do they start to reach out to you? Is there a website? Should they be making phone calls? How would you like that to look?
Yeah, in South Dakota, you can type in Working Grasslands Partnership into your search engine of choice. That's one thing to get some details on that program. Or you can visit ag.ducks.org. That's ag.ducks.org. Has a lot of information, and you can enter your name and phone number, and we can reach back out to you as well.
And Tanner, for North Dakota?
Yeah, same for same for North Dakota. That same link that'll get you there. Enter your information, or you can give us a call at the office right here in Bismarck, 701-355-3500, and we'll get you connected to the right person.
I often see you at farm trade shows. That's a great spot for people to stop by, visit with you in person, because I think there's a great deal more to the story and what could be done to help folks out as they're looking for new solutions and maybe a different way to manage land and dollars and cents on their productive acres. So I appreciate the two of you taking the time to answer some of those questions today. We just got started. That was just barely the little bit we could cover in a short amount of time. How's that sound?
Very much appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Bridgette.
Thanks, you guys.
All right, when we come back, we're going to recap the weather. Advisories have just been issued for the entire area here. I'll run down what the advisories mean, when they go into effect, all of that and more when we come back. And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. 1:51 in the afternoon. Winter weather advisories have just been issued for most of the area, generally stretching from Devil's Lake to Lisbon and all points east from there. So that includes basically all of our area. And that goes into effect at midnight, going through 6 p.m. tomorrow, as we're expecting snow to push into the area after midnight. The majority of this snow is going to fall between tomorrow morning, let's say 6 to 8 a.m., and tomorrow evening, about 5, 6 o'clock p.m. Again, we're not expecting a lot of snow, 1 to 2 inches across much of the area. There will be pockets that see a little less, maybe a half inch to an inch. There will be pockets that see a little more, but in general, about 1 to 2 inches. And again, that's usually not a big deal, but we're going to have 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts with this out of the north. That's going to pose a problem on those east-west roadways. Slippery travel, reduced visibility, and I wouldn't be surprised to see near blizzard conditions at times during tomorrow morning into the afternoon as the snow is falling. So we'll see how this unfolds. We're going to see banding of the snow where a lot of times you'll get a very narrow band of heavy snow, and then either side of that, maybe 20 miles either side of that, you're not going to get much at all. So we'll see how this unfolds tomorrow morning into the afternoon. But again, winter weather advisory up and down the valley into Lakes Country starting overnight and lasting through tomorrow evening. So if you have travel plans tomorrow, please keep up to date on the forecast, and you might want to just alter those travel plans until Saturday when conditions improve a little bit, before another clipper system comes our way on Sunday, bringing us a little more light snow, but a lot of wind with that one on Sunday as well. So we're kind of lining these clippers up every other day or so. None of them producing a lot of snow, but you get the snow that adds up, and then you get wind along with it, and then you're dealing with even bigger issues. So we'll see how that unfolds tomorrow. But again, winter weather advisory in effect up and down the valley into Lakes Country late tonight through the day tomorrow.
Well, I think I'm about to give Addison an opportunity to find some of his favorite ridiculous songs with this next headline. And that is, you want in on this?
What's happening in here?
Okay, just hang on. If let's just say you're not in the barn and the cows moo, did you understand what they were trying to say? Would it be different if you were there? Well, there are some researchers in New Zealand that want to know what a cow says. And what they are doing is gathering audio files, and then they are comparing them by using artificial intelligence algorithms to try to decide if they can hear if cattle are under stress, hungry, tired, in pain. Maybe they're just enjoying the sunset and a nice glass of Chianti. But nonetheless, they are scoping it out, trying to decide, and they're especially listening to audio for the week prior to calving and shortly thereafter to see if they can tell a difference in the vocal sounds.
Interesting.
Isn't there like a what the fox says? I was waiting for you to pipe that one in.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we don't even know what the fox says. Now they want to figure out what the cow says.
And honestly, if you've ever been in a barn, there's a couple things here. One, small herd, right? Let's say you're a dairy farmer in Wisconsin, 50 head of cows. You know what those cows are up to, right? You know them, you see them twice a day. They probably are all named, and you know which ones are your favorites and want to come on over and want you to rub their heads.
Those devious creatures aren't going to sneak anything past you.
That's exactly right. Now, you got a larger operation. You might not know each individual animal quite as well, but if a cow's mad, let's say pawing at the ground, mooing belligerently, you do begin to realize that that's not a good symbol. You should probably move on from there. Yes. I see your ponderation right over there through
Is
the
that
glass.
the right term for it? If a cow is pawing at the ground, they don't
They
have
will.
paws; they have hooves.
Okay, they have hooves, but the whole action of it. That just means you better move, because I have been run down by a dairy cow in that stance before.
I don't know. Anytime I've seen an animal do that, it's been a dog, and that normally means I'm hungry. So
Well, no, the cows they can be a little more aggressive than that, particularly after calving.
maybe they're hungry.
Maybe after they do this and they learn what a cow's sound could be, maybe we'll be able to read them better. Like the movie Up, where they had a little synthesizer around the dog's neck and he could talk.
I've seen enough cows up close to realize that I don't think they really have a lot of thoughts going on. And I think any thought they do have is just food.
Probably. They're very into snacking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
They're like me.
you see a horse lays its ears down, you should get on from there. don't hang around. They're not going to be friendly. That's not a positive sign.
Word of advice, Addison. Word of advice.
I don't trust horses. I haven't trusted horses since I was like 4. My grandma used to be really big into horses when I was little. She used to have this giant monster of a horse named D, and she tried to put me on this horse's back once.
Didn't really work.
Well, I was on the horse for about 10 seconds, and then Grandma turned around and started walking away and was like, oh, by the way, if Dee puts her head down, that means she's going to roll. That'll kill you if she does it, so jump off.
Oh, jeez.
I've never gotten off a creature faster.
In your
and
life.
I've never, believe it or not, I've never had the will to get on another horse after that. So.
Addison has been wrecked.
He's scarred for life.
Yep, never going to happen again. All right. Well, in other ideas and topics, okay, bird flu is still out there. We know that we are still seeing infected flocks, but it's not nearly as frequent as we once did. The most recent was 9,000 turkeys in Minnesota came down with bird flu. And we are far better at knowing how the bird flu works, how it spreads, et cetera. But nonetheless, North Dakota, through our extension service, is putting on bird flu prevention series for producers. That means you can attend these to learn more about the symptomology, effective hygiene and biosecurity for farms of all sizes, even if you're just looking at your smaller backyard flock. Also a demonstration of personal protective equipment so that we're all doing the same things to keep our birds safe. We have not had an incident with dairy in North Dakota. I'm doing this off the top of my head. I don't think we have. And we would like to keep it that way, right? The number of incidents has certainly gone down, which is a positive factor, but we don't want to see any other problems happening as well. So check out those webinars and in-person meetings.
All right, well, that'll do it for us today on Weather and Ag in Focus. Don't go anywhere. The Jay Thomas Show, that's coming up next.